welcome to Along the Lanes. I am in such a fantastic mood right now, and in fact, let's go back 20 minutes and you can see why. I was just about to start recording in my craft room and I saw the time. It's 5 minutes to. 5 minutes to the time where you book your classes for Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So I've done my research, I know which classes I want. Now it's just a case of, I'm actually nervous, waiting another 4 minutes, booking my classes, and then we can start. Wallet at the ready. There's a minute and a half to go. Quick, 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 quick. Success! I've managed to book Carrie Westerman's two-handed colourwork knitting class, which is on the Saturday afternoon, and I could have probably booked other classes. The other ones I was interested in were Tom of Holland's darning classes, Bristol Ivy's finishing class, and of course Nancy Merchant's brioche class. But let's face it, I want to keep some time while I'm in Edinburgh to just be social and hang out with people. So I'm not going to book other classes, even though it's killing me because I know just how many amazing teachers, how much amazing knowledge there's going to be being shared there. But I'll just have to learn my finishing techniques somewhere else. Only downside is my coffee. My coffee's really cold now, but that's okay. I don't mind a cold coffee for the benefits of having managed to book exactly the class I wanted. Just look at that. In the time it took me to finish my coffee, sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. Classes are going so fast. It's literally 12 minutes past, and well, half the classes are gone. So there you go. It's official. I am going to Edinburgh in March for the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I can't tell you who yet, but I'm hopefully traveling up north with somebody you also know and that you'll no doubt enjoy watching as well. So I am really excited. I've decided to only go for one class. Unlike last year where I really focused on the Yarn Festival, I'm hoping that this year I can go have a look around Edinburgh, because it's ridiculous. I went there for the Yarn Festival and I had never been before and I saw nothing of the city. I was just inside the Edinburgh Corn Exchange pretty much for the whole time I was there. So this year I want to change that up a little and actually go see that absolutely beautiful city. The last episode I uploaded was the mail time episode, which actually dated back from July, long before I even went to Canada. You know, if that episode was something in your fridge, you'd be kind of putting it in the bin and just never speaking of it again. But even though it felt a little bit outdated to me, I just absolutely had to publish it because I had to say thank you to the amazing people I'd done swaps with, the lovely gifts that had been given to me. I just couldn't bypass that episode and not give them thanks. So now we're back on track, we're back, it's fresh, it's October, it's autumn, it's perfect. October and September and just getting into the autumn really put me in the mood for a lot of knitting and a lot of cozying. In fact, this shawl, this mountain moss shawl, of course I didn't wear it over summer, but it's a camel and silk, I think, blend from Skein Queen, and I'd forgotten quite how glorious it is, and I've got a few more skeins of other colours, but of that base, and it's just making me want to just make more out of those because it's so soft and so cuddly. So the fact that summer is gone and that it's a bit cooler, not a problem with me. My seasonally appropriate pumpkin spice soup. Put the pumpkin chopped up in the oven with a little bit of oil and spices that you like for about half an hour till the flesh is soft. Then whiz it in the blender with some vegetable or chicken stock to loosen it up. Of course, don't forget to roast the seeds because they're just lovely as a topping on the soup. I was about to dish out the soup using a normal ladle, but then I remembered. How cute is this one? So much better. So that's Nessie the ladle. And done. Pumpkin soup with toasted pumpkin seeds, some parmesan, and a little bit of garlic and coriander naan bread. Perfect lunch. And then I can carry on binding off my exploration station shawl. I've been working on some fantastic knitting projects lately. I've felt quite productive. I've finished a lot of stuff. So some of you may recall the exploration station that I started last December. The very famous Mr. Stephen West himself helped me cast on the first few stitches because it's quite a cool shawl in that you do an I-cord edge the whole way along, so it's just got that very neat finished edge all along as you knit it, and then comes what feels like the longest bind off of my life, but you do an I-cord bind off the whole way along. So it's going to be, I'm all tangled, it's going to be an absolutely fabulous but absolutely ginormous shawl. So I'm about halfway done that neat tidy little bind off. But I can't wait to wear it, and it's going to be perfect for winter because it really is like a big wrap yourself into it type shawl. So nearly done. I would give it a few more evenings of edging and then probably a couple of evenings of weaving ends in, my favourite job. Weaving ends in is probably the main reason that I was interested in Bristol Ivy's finishing class, because I find that my ends are always kind of slightly untidy or slightly obvious, and I'm sure there are more graceful ways to do it. So I will try and learn, and I will share whatever wisdom I can gain over the next little while. So aside from my beautiful exploration station, I was working on socks for Andrew, and for once I've actually finished socks that fit him. Previously I always made them slightly too small, so they ended up being mine. Shucks. So these ones, man-sized socks. Can you guess at which point I ran out of yarn? So I made these in Knit Picks Hawthorn, which is lovely, and in fact the socks I'm wearing now are made out of Knit Picks Hawthorn as well, but I kind of misjudged the fact that as a sport weight yarn it's a slightly small skein, so I had to do toes in a different colour. But I quite liked the fact that this is a grey that I dyed, so it's quite a nice finishing touch. So there you go, giant man socks. And what else have I been working on? I finished my beautiful, but challenging for the wrong reasons, white pine sweater. It is done, it is beautiful, it is completely wrinkled, I apologise. When I thought I was nearly done, I had finished the body, I had finished the sleeves, and I was weaving ends in. I realised, shock and horror, that I had made a hole in it somehow. So at about, this is the side, and at about this height there was a big hole that was about 2 or 3 rows worth of cut yarn. So not a dropped stitch or anything like that, actual cut. So all I can think of, either while I was weaving ends in, I wasn't very careful and I cut the actual fabric of the body while cutting an end I had woven in, or it's possible that while working on the project I had shoved it in a bag with scissors that were slightly open. It's a mystery to me, but that required fixing. So those who follow me on Instagram will have seen that evening where I was completely panicked about it. And originally what I thought was I would unravel a little bit around it and then just use fresh yarn to just kind of tidy it up and redo those stitches. But I just couldn't see a way where I could do it and keep it tidy and clean and neat. So instead, I just picked up the stitches a few rows above, unknit the bottom and reknit the bottom of the sweater. Honestly, it was worth it. I'm glad that I did it properly, and I was lucky that I had sufficient yarn to do that as well. So it is now complete. The sleeves have been sewn in. The pattern actually calls for you to pick up the stitches and then sew the sleeve downwards, attached to the body. But in the middle of summer, I didn't fancy shifting the whole project about every time I needed to do a row. So I'm quite glad I did the sleeves 2 at a time, magic loop, and then I sewed them in at the top. So it's quite a neat, nice, it's the first time I had to sew sleeves in like that, and I'm really pleased with the results. So really comfortable, really good fit. I'll put it on later, but not today. And what else? do you remember this yarn that I bought on the yarn crawl? It's Viola, I'm not sure, but a fantastic Canadian dyer. And I really loved that yarn. I fell in love with the colorway while I was there. I nearly picked up some Brooklyn tweed. Then the Brooklyn tweed got thrown aside. Instead, I picked up some Madeline Tosh in chocolate brown. And then that got thrown aside as soon as I saw this beautiful, beautiful kind of dirty rose yarn. And I have started with it. A featherweight cardigan. So this is, I've got about this far. So this is what I've done so far. And I'm loving the colour. I love the very, very gentle little speckles. And I think the reason I wanted to make a featherweight cardigan is that it's the perfect neutral cardigan in that it's neither particularly kind of luxurious special occasion, but it's also not kind of slouchy homeware. It's that perfect in between where, depending on whether you dress it up or dress it down, it's such a perfect style. I'm talking like I've got the vaguest idea about style and fashion. I don't. But I'm looking forward to finishing this because I think that'll be really comfortable and kind of fairly lightweight, so it doesn't matter if it's a cool day, layer up. If it's a warmish day, then it's just perfect on its own. Well, you know, with a t-shirt, not on its own, that'd be a bit weird. So that's pretty much my knitting projects at the moment. I've also been doing a fair amount of spinning. So I have either spun recently or at least freed off from the bobbins that they were on a whole bunch of projects. So I've got one quite nice but unlabeled skein. So this is from the Hedgehog Fibers fiber club that I was part of for probably about 2 years, and I accumulated those beautiful braids but just couldn't spin them fast enough, so I stopped the fiber club. Of course, didn't help myself, I joined the yarn club instead, so okay, I don't have to spin it, but I still have to knit it. I'll need to try and figure out which fibers this would be. I've also spun these 2 eyeball searing thick and thin pink singles, so these on purpose, it's like popcorn of spinners. You just can't stop when you do that nice thick and thin, intentionally kind of varying the size of the yarn, and it's just so quick. So this is 200 grams and it literally took me a few evenings, and I'm looking forward to making something like a bright pink hat. Don't know who for. Not my little nieces. They've all got projects already planned, but need to find a pink lover. I also did this one, which is a blend of merino and angora that really, I think I must have spun this a few years ago, but it was on a bobbin and it needed clearing off. And it's super soft, super oozy and cozy, and it's the kind of thing where the more you wear it once you've knit it, the more it'll just kind of develop a big halo. So I think, again, I dyed this one in very, very, very pale pinks, so it should be nice, and I might just wear it just like that. And this is my most fun one. So this was let's see, whose was that? So a Pick Perfect braid from the Darling type, which is a merino, cashmere and silk blend in a Love Hearts colorway. So it's kind of reminiscent of those little Love Hearts candy that say things like I love you and fax me. And this one I chain plied, and I wanted to keep the colors as independent as possible. And that was a fun, relaxing thing to spin. In fact, if you or somebody around you loves video games, but not the shooty type, the puzzly type, while I was working on this, Andrew was playing The Witness, which is a game for either PlayStation, Xbox or Steam, and it's a puzzle game where the whole way along you've got different puzzles and you need to get from beginning to end, and they just get more complicated and more interesting, and a lot of it is about using your gut feeling and your logic to figure out how to resolve these new types of puzzles throughout. And there's just so much brilliance and depth to that game if you give it the chance, if you give yourself the chance to discover it. But I always find it funny when I look at things I've knit or spun and I get flashbacks of the music I was listening to, or the thing I was watching on TV, or the game that was being played near me. And this one, I think, will continue to remind me of The Witness. Does that happen to you? Do you associate project with certain situations? Now, I could talk about crafts and knitting all day and then, you know, just finish the episode and call it a day. But there's something that's been on my mind that I've been wanting to chat about and hopefully help make even the tiniest of differences. I think we can all agree that around the world in recent times, there's been a lot of really crappy stuff going on. Whichever country you look at, there's just anger and nastiness and just horribleness that nobody wants or needs in their lives. I would like this week for all of us to try and be, I guess, the best human being you can be. Whatever your situation, I think it's always possible to be that little bit kinder, that little bit more understanding of those around you. So, all that to say, let's love bomb the shit out of the internet this week. Go find your favourite YouTuber and just leave a nice comment. I mean, YouTube's not exactly known, I know the knitting community is a bit different, but YouTube's not exactly known for being the nicest place as far as comments go. So go say something nice. Go find your favourite designer and tell them how much you love them. Drop a line to an old friend, even just pop them a message on Facebook. And if you find somebody who you think you know better than them, rather than railing on them and kind of making fun of their lack of knowledge, give them 5 minutes of your time and try and give them constructive, kind feedback that might help them get better. Just root for others rather than being envious or jealous of what they've got or what they do or where they are in their life. This worked out so well when we did last year's Random Act of Kindness. So again, just go love bomb people and then leave a comment here and I'll do a little giveaway. So the number one thing in the giveaway is the Stephen West Fun Squad. So it's a giant knitting gauge on a wicked chain. Stylish. Centimeters here and inches down here, and really it's just a bit of fun, and I'll post it to somebody who I'll choose at random in the comments. And I'll also be going through my stash and I'll probably pick a skein of... That's making lots of noise. I'll pick a skein of yarn that I love and I'll also send that out. So go ahead, go love bomb the world, go love bomb the internet, and then come back here, leave a comment, and we'll just all have done something that makes just other people a little bit happier and ourselves happier by proxy, and then I'll do a little giveaway picking people at random in the comments. So go on, my beautiful people, go and spread the love. And I will see you next week. In the meantime, don't forget to say hi on Ravelry, on Instagram, and leave a nice big thumbs up. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Cat break. Hello, big boy. How are you doing?